There's a lot to cover in MuseScore Studio 4.6, so let's begin with a major layout update: hiding empty staves. Alongside the global option, you can now hide selected staves individually using new controls in properties. Whenever staves are hidden, a small eye icon appears at the top of the system. Click it to see and control exactly which instruments you want shown. You'll find more granular controls in the layout panel, which allows you to specify hiding rules for each instrument. To learn more, check out our dedicated tutorial on hiding empty staves, linked in the description below. With MuseScore Studio 4.6, playing directly into the app with your MIDI keyboard finally feels natural. You can shape note length and dynamics with your fingers, while sustain pedal support enables a more pianistic experience. Multi-wheel control is on the way, but already this release lets you perform in real time. Not only with the standard sound font, but also with your favorite supported VSTs, and for the first time with our flagship MuseSounds libraries. And speaking of the performance experience in MuseScore Studio, we've reintroduced the much requested count-in feature from earlier versions of MuseScore. Go to the settings button in the playback toolbar and choose Enable Count-in when playing. Finally, Linux users can at last start using VST3 plugins in MuseScore Studio. More information on the current level of support can be found in our handbook. Now we'll see why MuseScore Studio 4.6 could well become your go-to app for piano, voice, guitar, or PVG scores. We've worked closely with the Engraving team at Hal Leonard, the world's largest publisher of PVG scores, to bring you features you'll soon start seeing in official Hal Leonard titles. Fretboard diagrams now autofill from the chord symbols you type, with full tweakability in properties. And to create a fretboard diagram legend above your first stave, just add your chord symbols as usual, select your first measure, then go to Add, Frames, Insert Fretboard Diagram Legend. The legend appears instantly, with sizing, spacing, and column options in properties. Chord symbols themselves have also been given some love. You can now scale and position extensions, modifiers, and altered bass notes independently. You can also stack and parenthesize modifiers, and fine-tune the alignment of both chord symbols and diagrams in styles. You can also create polychords using the vertical line or pipe character, with playback support planned for an upcoming release. Guitarists can now add slurs with H and P markings for hammer-ons and pull-offs, and we've added left and right-hand tapping symbols to the guitar palette, all fully customizable in styles. And best of all, if you're using a guitar sound from MuseSounds Guitars Volume 2, you'll hear slurs and tapping in playback. And speaking of MuseSounds, there are two new playback libraries worth highlighting here. The first is the highly requested Euphonium. Sampled by Ebb and Flow Audio with MuseSounds technical guidance, it's deeply sampled for notation and blends seamlessly with our brass collection while delivering expanded range and detail. In addition, we're also proud to introduce a new Handbell collection, which comes with a dedicated palette of cymbals that trigger all kinds of lifts, damps, plucks, swings, and more. Get both of these libraries in the MuseSounds section of MuseHub. Let's get back to engraving. There's a lot more to cover here. In film scoring and band music, it's common to show measure numbers below the bottom stave. You can now do this with a click of a button. And you can place any system markings, including rehearsal and tempo marks, beneath each system via the layout panel. New measure number settings have also been added to styles, allowing you to achieve the polished look of professional scores. For repeated sections played more than twice, you can now display repeat play count text above end repeat bar lines. The text is fully customizable, and using the layout panel, you can show it above whichever staves you need. Another professional necessity: choosing your own music font. MuseScore Studio 4.6 now recognizes any Smilful font installed on your computer. You can also set any text font for tablature numbers in Styles, Text Styles, Tablature Fret Number. And for anyone still wondering when MuseScore Studio will be ready for professional publications, version 4.6 brings yet more refinements, including improvements to rest alignment, horizontal spacing, tuplet layout, bar lines, volta lines, and more. To help you work faster, we've added a number of workflow improvements to MuseScore Studio 4.6. The selection filter now lets you isolate individual notes in chords, perfect for extracting lines and pasting them into other staves. This can be used in conjunction with our existing selection functionality, available when you right-click an item and choose Select More. Building on our copy and paste improvements from our last update, you can now make a range selection, then copy it somewhere else by holding Alt on Windows or Option on Mac, while clicking where you want it to go. Selections that don't start at the beginning of the bar will even remember their metrical position when pasted. When editing text, a new widget puts basic styling tools at your fingertips, along with quick access to the special characters dialog. And percussion writers can now fit more drum pads on screen by increasing the number of columns in the percussion panel, configurable per instrument and ideal for freeing up space in your score. MuseScore Studio has always been designed with accessibility in mind, and in this update, we've made further improvements to our screen reader support, with more detailed announcements when you switch to note input mode or make any change in the score. We've also added a handy new shortcut to stop playback and instantly select the note where playback ended, perfect for those who navigate their score by ear before making edits. To dive deeper into these new features and improvements, we've linked a number of tutorial videos and handbook pages in the description below. As always, MuseScore Studio continues to grow thanks to our incredible community of contributors who help test, fix, and improve the app. Special thanks in this release go to Krasimir Xiaomigros, Julian Bühler, Klaus Rettinghaus, and Rémi Thébault. If you'd like to get involved, join the discussion on musescore.org or find us on Discord. And don't forget to subscribe for updates on new releases, tutorials, and the latest MuseSounds libraries. Thanks for watching and enjoy MuseScore Studio 4.6.